November 4, 2025, California voters face a pivotal choice, Proposition 50. This measure would temporarily suspend the state's independent redistricting commission, handing map-drawing power to the Democratic-led legislature for the 2026 midterms. Supporters, led by Governor Gavin Newsom, argue it's a necessary response to Republican gerrymandering in states like Texas. They frame it as a defensive move to level the national playing field, not a permanent change. Opponents, including former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, call it a blatant power grab that betrays California's commitment to nonpartisan redistricting. The fight has drawn national attention and over $190 million in campaign spending. Democrats see Prop 50 as a tool to counteract Republican strategies and protect democracy. Republicans warn it's a dangerous precedent, allowing politicians to draw their own districts. The stakes are high. Today's vote could reshape not just California, but the balance of power in Congress. The outcome will echo far beyond the state's borders. Many California Democrats are uneasy about supporting Prop 50. They've long opposed gerrymandering. But with Republicans aggressively redrawing maps elsewhere, Democrats feel forced to fight fire with fire. They argue that sticking to idealistic rules while the other side bends them is political suicide. Prop 50 is framed as a reluctant but necessary countermeasure, not a celebration of partisan map drawing. The campaign leans into this narrative, presenting the measure as a defensive shield against Trump and the GOP. Governor Newsom's messaging taps into anti-Trump sentiment, urging voters to act before it's too late. For many, supporting Prop 50 is about protecting the future of Congress, even if it means compromising on principle. It's a coalition of voters holding their noses, convinced the stakes justify the means. They see this as California's chance to restore balance to the national political map. Prop 50 is California's answer to aggressive Republican gerrymandering in states like Texas, North Carolina, and Missouri. The Texas legislature, with Trump's backing, recently redrew maps to create 5 new GOP-leaning districts, a move seen as a declaration of political war. Similar tactics in other states have convinced California Democrats that fair play is no longer an option. They view these actions as a coordinated effort to lock in Republican control of Congress, regardless of the popular vote. For Prop 50 supporters, this isn't just about state politics, it's about defending representative democracy nationwide. The measure is a direct response to what they see as a national strategy to rig the system. California is using its influence to push back on a chessboard where the other side is already cheating. The stakes are national, not just local. On the streets of California, voters admit they dislike gerrymandering, but feel they have no choice. Many see Prop 50 as gerrymandering to stop gerrymandering, a necessary evil in a broken system. Voters like Adelaide Stone Van Gessel and Stephanie Eberstein express frustration. We can't play the game like decent people anymore. For them, the threat of another Trump presidency or a GOP-controlled Congress outweighs concerns about process. Polls show 75% of Prop 50 supporters cite opposition to Trump as a key motivator. The fight is personal and ideological, not just procedural. They're voting to build a firewall against a political movement they see as dangerous. For these Californians, the greater good justifies a temporary suspension of their ideals. The decision is grim, but in their eyes, necessary. They're not just voting for new maps. They're voting to protect democracy itself. California Republicans see Prop 50 as a direct attack on their already limited influence. They deride the potential new map as a gerrymander, accusing Democrats of hypocrisy and power grabbing. The Independent Redistricting Commission was created to prevent exactly this kind of manipulation. Republicans fear Prop 50 will further silence their voices and make elections less competitive. Trump and national GOP leaders have inflamed the debate, calling the measure dishonest and urging resistance. For many conservatives, this is a battle for political survival in a state that feels increasingly hostile. They argue Prop 50 is a wasteful, partisan exercise that undermines real issues facing Californians. The fight has become another front in the national culture war. As ballots are cast, Prop 50 appears headed for a decisive win. Polls show about 60% support, with high early turnout favoring Democrats. The Yes campaign, powered by big donors and endorsements from Newsom and Obama, has dominated the airwaves. The opposition, led by Schwarzenegger and GOP donors, has struggled to break through. In deep blue California, the argument for nonpartisan redistricting is drowned out by calls to fight Trump. Over $190 million has been spent, but the momentum is clearly with Prop 50. California is poised to set aside its procedural ideals for a shot at national influence. The outcome seems all but certain. Prop 50's passage could shift at least 5 House seats toward Democrats, a direct response to Texas's GOP gerrymander. In a closely divided Congress, this swing could be decisive. Experts say it could boost Democrats' chances of a House majority by up to 15%. The stakes are enormous. A Democratic House could block Trump's agenda if he returns to the White House. Conversely, a GOP House would help him push through his priorities. National leaders on both sides have poured resources into the fight, recognizing its far-reaching impact. California's move could tip the national balance of power for years. The ripple effects will be felt far beyond the state. This is more than a local issue. It's a national power play. Prop 50 marks a dramatic, if temporary, break from California's proud tradition of independent redistricting. The state's citizen-led commission, created in 2010, was a model for fair, transparent map drawing. Prop 50 suspends this system for just one cycle, letting the legislature redraw congressional districts for 2026. Supporters stress the change is temporary, a one-time emergency measure. This argument has swayed some reluctant voters who still value independent redistricting. Critics warn it sets a dangerous precedent. If principles can be set aside now, what stops it from happening again? For opponents, Prop 50 is a U-turn on reform, showing even California can't resist the lure of partisan advantage. The decision is momentous, signaling that even the best reforms are vulnerable in a polarized era. The future of nonpartisan redistricting hangs in the balance. California's choice could influence other states facing similar pressures. As polls close, California's Prop 50 vote reflects the hard choices of a deeply divided nation. Voters are setting aside ideals for what they see as political survival. The measure is a calculated response to escalating partisan warfare over democracy's rules. It's a tacit admission that nonpartisan dreams may be out of reach in today's climate. Supporters see it as self-preservation. Critics see it as an erosion of democratic norms. The fight fire with fire mentality risks a race to the bottom. Prop 50's story is one of difficult choices in a high-stakes era. Californians are choosing pragmatism over principle, determined to fight back against a national threat. In the battle for America's soul, they've decided to be warriors, not casualties.